your 3 cards. The first one, ooh, acceptance, Second card, beauty. I like to show the visuals of the card too, just in case any of the visual elements connect to something in your life that'll help, make the message a little more clear. But I feel like I make them pretty clear, but just in case. So this is the third card, learning. Okay, exciting, Leos. Okay, so for this card, I think, Leos, the year of the snake was a huge year of upheaval for everyone. And I think you're coming out the tail of it kind of in like a whirlwind of, whoa, okay, this is my situation. I gotta get real about it. Like, I think there's like an internal struggle here of acceptance of your new reality, and maybe acceptance of where you are now in life and who you are. So it seems like you gotta spend some time focusing on how to accept these new changes in your life and, really integrating these new changes internally and not fighting this process. Okay, the next card, beauty. So I think your life will get much more beautiful once you have this acceptance of new responsibilities of who you are. And I think it's saying like, your life is already beautiful. Beauty surrounds you everywhere. You just have to be more aware of this and really, really respect where it shows up in your life and make sure you are holding on to those aspects of beauty and joy, because life is so hard right now. We need to focus on these aspects and foster them. So, and I think, and also with this acceptance, it might be hard for you to accept this beauty right now because you're not accepting your own inner beauty. And I think, something about Leos is you all like to portray confidence. Leo, sun, moon, risings. It's one of your defense mechanisms to always kind of like deploy this air of confidence so people don't question you. And buried underneath that, illusion of confidence, I think sometimes are a lot of deep buried insecurities and a lot of, self-doubt and kind of self-hatred. And I think this card is really reminding you to, embrace the beautiful aspects of you and your personalities and your skills. Like, you have so much to offer the world, your community, your loved ones, and yourself. You just have to accept that. Oh my gosh. See, that just came naturally off the dome. I didn't even remember that was the first card. So, beauty. Accept this beauty internally so you can appreciate it externally as well. And I think this feeds in lovely to your last card, learning. I think the year of the horse for you, for others, every sign is going to go through intense inner transformations, and some may have a lot of external transformations to match. And I think for you, a lot of your transformations will mostly be internal, especially based on this card. I think you're going to be learning a lot this year about yourself and others. You're going to be developing emotional skills around compassion, love, skills that allow you to give back to the people you care about in your community. And, overall, this energy of the year of the horse, I think a lot of us have been dragging our feet. We have been indoctrinated by a culture that has made us very lazy. We don't have to have a lot of skills around emotional intelligence. We don't need to know how to garden, hunt. We don't know how to we don't know or have to know how to take care of ourselves. And that's become a crutch and, has kind of impeded us from being able to fully break our dependence from, these powers that are just essentially vessels for dark energy. So I think this year is all about skilling up, learning about ourselves, and learning about skills that we can give to others. Okay, thank you for hanging with me, Leo. Sorry it's getting late over here. Those are your 3 cards. As always, I like to mix my reading with what the creators of the cards have to say, because who knows the cards better than the people that actually made them? So let's take a look at what they have to say. And I read one little passage from their cards. They have a huge long list of interpretations based on, your mind, integrating it in your body, etc. So if you want to hear any more of those, please drop in the comments and I will share some excerpts from that. So, starting with your first card, reminder, acceptance. Of course, I was on learning. Sorry, y'all. When you're talking with someone in your family, your lover, or a dear friend, you can imagine him or her to be, or them, to be an independent or to be an embodiment of the divine, to help you awaken your sense of unconditional love. Sorry. Sometimes it works. Don't trash yourself when it doesn't. Unconditional love towards someone who's acting like a jerk can be more than a little challenging. Whatever you're doing and feeling, make it a conscious practice to remember the crucial principle of mirror neurons. That is, people usually tend to respond toward you with the same emotional tone you're displaying towards them, and vice versa. Whatever it is, learning and using, and remember, we're reading the acceptance card, and that word learning came up. So, especially perk up when you hear another card in your reading. It's telling you how they tie together perfectly. So, once again, learning and using that principle can help you become more understanding of relationship dynamics. It can be a big step toward ascending in the direction of 4th chakra harmony. So, I think not only what I was talking about in terms of accepting like where things are at, who you are, but accepting your role and maybe some of the toxic dynamics that you're in right now, and how maybe your behaviors have, contributed to fostering that kind of environment. Specifically in terms, I'm seeing your communication style, where it was quoting like, be mindful of the mirror neurons, which means essentially the energy you bring to people, the tone, the delivery. That's how they meet you. That's how people meet you. So, if you've been like really harsh, cranky, aggressive, confrontational, or maybe just not like being aware of people's boundaries, like what have you done to, contribute to all this? And, that's a hard pill to swallow. And, a lot of the world, we haven't learned how to take accountability in that way. So I understand, Leo, if it's hard and you're like, what? How have I contributed? Like, breathe through that initial reaction, if that's your first reaction, and think like, yeah, maybe I could have took a deep breath and had a nicer tone there, or maybe I should have stepped away for a little bit and continued that conversation later. Whatever it is, What ways can you show up that can help your interpersonal relationships that then also bleed into our collective relationships? Because yes, we may be one drop in billions of people, but energy is powerful and it's a domino effect. So whatever we try to summon and harness within ourselves and our immediate community and connections bleeds into the greater community and world. So just, be aware of those patterns to help us get out of this hellscape we're in now. Thanks, Leo. Your next card. Beauty. Okay. Opening the heart center inspires you to wake up to seeing or sensing beauty and living your dreams without being distracted by worldly anxieties. When the doorway to pure love opens, the path of grace becomes visible and you can better hear the truth of the heart. Life can become easier and more inwardly rich in each moment because your sense of what makes you happy becomes more acute. Romantic notions, heart-filling perceptions, and creature comforts contribute to your world blossoming with more beauty. If this center becomes dominant, your connections with spirit will become more intuitive and you may sense your divine connection, especially if you meditate. So, what I was talking about before about recognizing and fostering that beauty internally so you can create it externally as well, because the power of the mind, what we think we create, quite literally. This is saying the more you indulge in love, in the beauty of love, the more you will create that energy within you and around you. And what I was talking about, like, I think the year of the horse, not only is it pushing us to be the best versions of ourselves for ourselves, but also to help heal these huge chasms of trauma and emotional scarring we have from just all the things we've been through, from watching people get kidnapped on the street, watching people get murdered in Palestine. Like, it's been a lot of years of trauma, and I think our ascension is being forced on us so quickly right now because we've had the time. I think the universe has been patient with us, and now it's really time to get ourselves together so we can really fix all of this. We can fix all of this. We just gotta put our hearts and minds and souls to it. So, okay. That was your beauty card, my dear ones. And the last card for you, Leos, learning. Conversing with the Oracle passage. Okay. Shiva reminds us that learning in all its forms is a key element of a life well lived. This learning includes mastery of the yogas. He also reminds us that it is only the beginning of wisdom, that which comes from discovering how to use our knowledge effectively in the worldly situations in which we find ourselves. By keeping the mind of a student, we see that we gain knowledge in various ways. One is by contemplating our inner world and being watchful that we make choices that will help us live harmoniously. Another is to avoid promoting negativity through our own actions and interactions with others. So once again, getting back to this accepting card, the tail end there of that learning passage was talking about, the ways in which our behaviors and actions might be contributing negatively to our circumstances with others and our relationships with others. So I think, a big part of your learning this year is taking a step back to where you contributed to where your relationships are. And with that, Leos, I know you guys are so stubborn and prideful, and I know you all are really extremely talented people, but don't let that pride blind you to thinking you have nothing to learn, that you're the master of everything, that the people around you have nothing to teach you. we're supposed to remain, as the creators of the deck were saying, we're supposed to remain students of life, to have a life well lived. And there's always something to learn, and there's always something everybody around us can teach us. There's a reason why these people are in our lives. They're supposed to teach us lessons. So just carrying that humbleness with you to be receptive to the lessons the universe and God is trying to teach you. Okay, dear Leos, that's your reading. I hope it resonates. Drop in the comments if it does. And I wish you the best year of the horse. I hope all this energy works in your favors.